Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into 2 parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. And hello to you all. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. From right here in the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports, you can find them at impactpowersportsmi.com. Great team over there. If you're interested in a Yamaha golf cart, made to your specifications. That's right. You can customize the thing. Head over to their website, impactpowersportsmi.com. Not only that, you can check out a side-by-side ATV, UTV, motorcycle, e-bike, scooter, go-kart, snowmobile, lawnmower. My God, they have it all at Impact Power Sports. Their location, 14 Mile Road in Rockford, Michigan. Thank you so much. That's a question I get asked quite often. What's your podcast about? And it's always, oh, God. It's so difficult to explain. It really isn't, but I mean, if it's me, if I said to someone, hey, what's your podcast about? And I said, well, news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Like, at first I talk about shit going on in my life. And then I'm just waiting for one day the person to say, well, what makes you so interesting? And I'm like, well, I don't know that it is, but that's what I'm doing. I would hope that it is somewhat interesting. But then I take what I see in the news and I talk about it. And then they kind of like want to figure out like where I sit on topics. Let's say politics. Like, where am I? I don't know, man. It depends on the day. It depends on the way the wind is blowing, frankly. I'm not really in this to convince anybody of anything. Matt says EZ is interesting because it's his podcast. Ding dong. Excuse me. I am in a text war with Joe Martinez. He recently, despite years of success, has vacated the podcast. He is no longer marketing his business on the podcast. He doesn't really say what's up. So I'm guessing something terrible has happened. All he says is, dude, there's been a lot of bullshit going with the new refrigerate. He's usually doing it voice to text, so I don't even know what that means. And all that. And I guess he's got a gig lined up in Muskegon with a bunch of new homes. So what does he do? He casts me aside. Man Bun Chris says, is it because you banned him? No. For 5 minutes? No. It has nothing to do with that. This is all well before it. And I still don't know. It's not really my business as to why he's not marketing. But I said to him today, first of all, he wrote today, what are you going to talk about on the show today so I can tell it before you? And I said, I'm going to talk about my new sponsor, and then I named a heating and cooling company. Now, that's not true. It isn't a new sponsor, but I did, in fact, approach this new sponsor, potential sponsor, heating and cooling company. I was like, well, fuck you. If you're not gonna market yourself on the show, I'm gonna get somebody else to spend the money. At least, hopefully, in theory. He sent me laughy emojis and says they sell that, and he names a company that is junk. Then I wrote, I'm announcing to everyone today that your company went belly up. He writes, go with that loser. We have big things happen. In line to do 16 new hoes in Muskegon this year. Yeah, they probably are hoes. So basically, he said to me one point in time when we started working together, he goes, marketing on your podcast has really put my business on the map. And I'm like, well, that's music to my ears. I'm so glad you told me that. So I don't know what happened along the way. Why, he hasn't really given me a legitimate answer, I don't think. Then I wrote, I'm going to tell the story that your whole family got deported. An ICE raid sent everyone to El Salvador. Then I said, I'm totally kidding. That company is not a sponsor yet. I sent them a package, but I have not heard back. Like I said to him, I go, all right, this is your final shot to market on the podcast. If you don't, I have to, I'm just letting you know I'm going to look for another heating and cooling sponsor. And he won't budge. I'm like, okay. He wrote, he won't. He is a tight ass. And I said, you could spare me all this trouble by signing back up, dickhead. Chris says he's big timing you. He doesn't need you anymore. Rebecca said he started advertising on the hockey boards at Van Andel, and now he's too big for you. I actually thought that. When he first told me he was doing that, advertising on the hockey boards, my first thought was, he's done. He's not gonna do it anymore. As soon as they start spending money on other sources of advertising, they kind of drift away from you. I've witnessed that myself. Tofus says he probably doesn't want to advertise because of all the work he has lined up with this project. I'll bet $100 it isn't personal. Oh, I know it's not personal. Of course it's not personal. But it's hard to not take it personally. Why would you think it's personal? Well, you're the only one who said that. Of course it's not personal. It's just annoying as hell. We worked great together. Everything was fine. By your own words. So keep it in mind that when and or if and or when I get a new heating and cooling sponsor, you are encouraged to call that team. Until then, Joe's still scheduled to come to my house and service my furnace and AC. I got to have somebody do it. All right. Speaking of sponsor news, I reached out to our pals, Dumpster Divers. Man Bun Chris says, everyone wait for those tune-ups. Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, hold off on scheduling your tune-ups with the old company, and who will remain nameless. And if I don't get one, just wait. Put it off for a year. You can go 1 year without waiting, I hope. And then we'll revisit this. So I want all calls to the last guys to dry up until further notice. Bob says you need a plumber to sponsor the potty breaks. So Man Bun Chris says, it's nothing personal. I just want to wait. Exactly. It's not personal. Not personal at all. Come on now. Yeah, times are tough. You know, tariffs. Oh, my God. And tariffs are affecting everything. Holy shit. Jeremy says he's too busy anyways. He's got new homes to do. The little guy doesn't matter anymore. Thank you to my friends at Dumpster Divers. I talked to Kyle the other day. He is delivering a dumpster to the house on Friday. We did a trade. Pooh Bear said, I need another dumpster. I have to clean up this house. There's so much shit that we have to throw away. First of all, listen to this finagling on her part. This is awesome. I had said to her I wanted to go up north. I'll be back early Sunday to celebrate Mother's Day. First, it was going to be her and I, but she's got something going. I go, all right, I'm going up. Time to pick up some sticks. Enjoy the wilderness. Yesterday, she says, can you stay home and help me clean the house? I'll think about that. Clean the home, throw shit in the dumpster, or go up north for picking up stick heaven. What would you do? I agreed to stay home. You want a happy Pooh Bear. You don't want the setting of going up north with her wanting something done. That's called free clearance. If you don't have the clearance, you're not going to have as enjoyable of a time. I go, yeah. I didn't even hem and haw. Tophus says you'd have a bad time because you know she's pissed. No, she wouldn't be pissed, but she wanted something done. She wanted me to help get this house ready for Madison, who's coming back home from school. We've got a lot of shit left over that needs to be trashed. And I've been saying we're going to get rid of this shit forever. So she suggested that. So I'm like, yeah, well, go up north or clean the house. I choose clean the house, please. Pooh Bear needs a helper, right? Nick says, I could have said, stop ordering so much junk and we won't have to clean. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to keep this above board. Are you still at your hillbilly rock and roll convention in Ohio, by the way? Whatever the hell that is. What is it? What is it called? Death Fest or some shit? So now I'm like, oh, no. And then she says, we need that dumpster. And I go, can we wait until after the wedding? I don't want to pay for anything until the wedding. And she looks at me like the way I'm looking at you right now. And then she goes, why don't you call them and ask them to trade? And I'm like, well, that's fucking brilliant. Of course. I reach out. Hey, I'll give you a month marketing. Dumpster divers all over the place. If bring me a dumpster, don't charge me anything. You get a month free. Done. Fantastic. So if you need a dumpster, reach out to Dumpster Divers in West Michigan, dumpsterdivers.com. It's been so long. Yeah, there they are. I think. Wait a minute. I think they changed their name. Okay, this is really screwing me up. How long has it been? That's what Chris says. Didn't they change the name? How did you know that and I didn't know that? So the vehicles say dumpster divers, but it says dumpaholics. What the fuck? I got to get the story. Yo, yo. ... Wait a minute. Yo, yo, ... I'm calling to get the story about the name change on the podcast. Period. Don't be a twat. Period. Make sure you pick up. Yeah, because that's how you do it. Send a text and then immediately call right after. I'll give it a second. Yeah, Chris, how the fuck did you know this? Kuipers says they had to do that to expand. Man Bun Chris says, Eric Zane, dude, fucking Jared Goff, Astroplane, dude. Chris says, I was just going to tell you the reason, but don't want to do it. No, how the fuck? Maybe Kyle did it on like a video or something like that. Talked about it. I got to get to the bottom of this shit. Name change? They want to put franchises out there, but some old lady owns the right to the name. That's weird. Will he send a dumpster to Kalamazoo? Asking for me. I think so. So this is what you need to do, because they're stingy with their money too. If you need a dumpster in the next month, I want you to reach out to Dumpaholics. DUMPA Hall, HAUL, ICS. Oh, it's even worse. Dumpaholicsco.com. Reach out to those people. If you just type dumpster divers in Google or dumpaholics or whatever the fuck, you will see their website. In the next month, if I can get enough people to say, yeah, I want a dumpster, I heard about you on the Eric Zane Show podcast, the goal is to get these bastards to spend some fucking money. I can't have garage sales every 6 months. So that needs to happen. All right. So anyway, that is on the horizon for this weekend. Getting shit thrown away. This is probably the 5th time that we have thrown stuff away in this household. I think that this one might be the last one for a long, long time. A purge. Nothing better than a purge. I also got Pooh Bear saying, honey, we need some work done on this landscaping. So this is the type of deal where local company brings by like mulch or wood chips. I got a company out of Holland that does it. And they put like a big pile of wood chips in the driveway, and then you spread this shit around. There have been years where they drop the thing, and then I leave it there for a good portion of the summer. This is why my neighbors hate me. We are not homeowner association friendly in this household, in this neighborhood. They drop the pile of wood chips, and then they're there for so long that by the time I finally get it done, it's left a stain in the driveway. Been rained on several times. The top layer of them actually start to fade in color. I'm so bad at this. Last year I was actually successful doing it, but there have been years where I've not been successful doing it. And then people are like, "Are you gonna get rid of this anytime soon?" I actually have a call in to this company out of Holland for them to advertise too. I sent out so many ad packages today. I sent one out to a new heating and cooling company. I sent one out to wood chip company. I sent one out to the West Michigan Whitecaps. Totally on fire. We're kind of sold out, but I'm trying to make room. You see, I've been faced with this wedding, and I just got the word from Pooh Bear that some of the dollar amounts that still are outstanding are coming due. So the wedding is June 6th. So let's see. I owe another $675 for the DJ. I owe another $2,100 for the venue. I owe $2,500 for the food at the venue. I owe... we're providing our own booze. Like we're hiring a bartender or two, and then we buy the booze. So I have to go to like Costco and buy all the mixers, all the booze, everything. There's that. And then there's the cake. I paid for a half of the cake. That reminds me, I got to reach out to those folks for marketing. So we're sitting at about 7 to 10 left. And I've paid like a good portion of this. Welcome back, Jimmy. Good to have you here. Then I was told this. Hey, we owe for the, we also have to pay for the rehearsal dinner. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought rehearsal dinner was paid for by parents of the groom. And Pooh Bear said to me, no, we're paying for that. Now, I asked why, and I got like a one-word or one-sentence reply. Now, that was through text, but I'm pretty sure that it was her way of saying, don't ask questions, just shut up. We're less than a month out. Do what you're told. Go sell more sponsorships. So I don't want to be that guy. Okay? I have a feeling that the way this is being handled is, and you might say, well, easy, you're being taken for granted. I know. I have been, my job in all of this has been receive the bill and pay for it. And I've set that precedent. So now we're getting down to the final hours here. If I suddenly buck the trend of being agreeable and start to be not so agreeable, I think that might put undue stress on people. And as you know, I'm constantly playing the long game. I just want harmony and sweetness. And if that comes at a cost, It sucks, but I'm willing to do that. David says the answer was because, dickhead. Chris says, you mean cockhead. Yeah, if I start to fuss in any way, if there's any degree of fussiness on my part concerning these things, I start to get answers that seem to be a little less patient. And once that happens, I think that then I'm like, oh boy. I mean, I've been in this game long enough to know which battles to pick and which not to. Donut Dan says, when you go to Costco and buy that booze, make sure to water it all down. Tophus says, there's a limit to that shit. One day you're going to explode and go all nude dude down Main Street. Well, let's hope so. Let us hope so. So anyway, I think I'm set, though, with the decision-making to stay here, help Pooh Bear, and make sure that this wedding goes off without a hitch. That's it. We are at the finish line. Folks, think about it. I remember when I was living in New Jersey, sitting down and coming up with a plan about, okay, we got to get these. We have 5 big things to worry about. 3 college educations and 2 weddings. Now, Jim's college education, it didn't really work out because he didn't really want to go to college. Tried. That first year at Ferris State, it was like taking a pile of money and lighting it on fire. I don't even know what happened in that year that he was there. He might have just lived in the dorm and never went to class. The Magical Misfit says, I've listened to you for years. You did always work to care for your family. Well, that's the least I think that anybody could do. Now, Jim has tried to get back into school a couple of times. Hey, Dad, I'm going back to college. All right, let's do it. I'll help you. And then it doesn't work out. All I can do is be a supportive hand. Man Bun Chris says he did well with his solar system project, though. Tophus says, I don't think Jim likes school. Who does? It's a lot of work. School's not for everybody, though. But then, all right, getting the college education done with Jacqueline. And then the wedding. That was a big one. And then Madison, college education. And now Madison wedding. This is it. This is it. Question. Man Bun Chris says, did he end up going to trade school? No. He's had a couple of things that he'd like to do, and then it just doesn't come to fruition. I don't ask too many questions. I'm just there to go, yeah, that sounds like a plan. I like it. If you need any help, let me know. I'll be there for you. That's kind of my mentality when it comes to anything kid-related. You know, these people are old now. These are old people. I've got a 30-year-old. I've got a 28-year-old. And in August, I will have a 23-year-old. Old-ass people. Now, the only time I ever say anything to these people is when they ask, hey, what do you think about this? When I get that specific question, then I will give you an answer. But that never happens because kids don't ask parents that shit. Because they know all kids believe that their parents are stupid. Okay? That's the way I felt about my mother. That's the way I feel about my dad. I would never ask them anything. All kids think that their moms and dads are dipshits. Anyone who thinks that their parents have good ideas are fucking assholes. They cannot be trusted. If anyone turns to their parents for advice, they're idiots. Donut Dan says, but dipshits with money. My job, this is what I get asked. Hey, Dad, do you have money for tires? Magic Misfit says, and who are you, by the way, Magic Misfit? I need to know who you are. I wish I had real names on all these. I mean, I know most of the people. Until you get older, it makes sense. I had a blast with my dad as a chaperone at the amusement park. What amusement park? Where were you? Tofus says, my parents had great ideas. Have 11 kids and work for the school system as a bus driver and a janitor. / sarcasm. Jeremy says it's true. I'm an idiot and I ask my dad for advice all the time. Disfamed says, I see dogs. You're damn right. The Magic Misfit is in Minnesota. My name is Paul. I'm glad. Are you in Aaron Imholt territory? Are you part of the St. Cloud contingency of former audience members? Cole says, I do have money for tires. My own tires. Go talk to your husband about your tires. Disfamed is new and says, so what do we do here? Just talk? Well, what do you want me to do? Sing a song? Juggle? Play video games? That is an interesting concept that just popped into my head. We talked about video games on this show yesterday. The idea of me busting out a video game and playing it on here might be just the type of hilarity that we could add to our quiver of arrows we have when it comes to content. Disfamed wants me to twerk. I'd break my hip. Are you kidding me? I'm 54 years old. I can't twerk, you dumbass. Cole says you could play with all of us. Donut Dan says to Disfamed, we talk about a dumbass radio show, funny clips from real life, and try to piss Easy off. So he bans us. Bob says, do you have an Atari? I wish. I don't have anything. Disfamed says, I don't want to get banned. He seems cool. Well, that's very kind. You won't get banned. All right. Yeah, maybe I will get into gaming one day. Just so that we can have something to talk about. I have an update for you on this trial in Grand Rapids. First of all, I should probably see if there is a verdict in this trial. No. So for those of you who don't know, this was an instance 3 years ago. Cop on a cold, late winter, early spring morning, I believe. Maybe not. Pulled a guy over. Guy was drunk. Guy ran away. Black guy, white cop. Trying to subdue the guy. Used a taser. Didn't work. Motorist is wrestling with the cop. Cop gets on his back. Motorist face down. His name is Patrick Loyola. He's reaching for the cop's taser. Exhausted, the cops pulls out his pistol and shoots him in the back of the head. He's dead. That video was horrible. It'll haunt your dreams. Don't ever watch that video. Trial is right now. They're doing the deliberations. The jury is trying to decide guilty or not guilty. Now, the latest as of last night and as of right now, that they have not yet come to a verdict. The cop or the defense says it was self-defense. It's proven self-defense. The prosecution, Kent County, Michigan, has said, no, absolutely, it was not okay. And they're trying to convict him of second-degree murder. Now, out in front of the courthouse, they've got free Chris Scher, and he's innocent, and then you got the guilty side. Well, they clashed in air quotes. And now there's concerns that if this does go where the cop is not guilty, that they will that there'll be a riot, George Floyd style. Maybe not. I don't know. But the jury is deadlocked. They've come back to the judge and said we can't. We're not making any progress. Judge says go back and keep working. So who knows where this will go. Yesterday, I think that the local news was like really leaning into this story about how there was some type of dispute between the two sides. Pay special attention to how the cops are trying to disperse the crowd.
Top at
here.
6, we continue to follow a very active situation outside of the Kent County Courthouse.
Protesters in support of Christopher Scher and the Leoya family had to be broken up after clashing.
Police deploying an inert powder as a warning.
Okay, now there it is. The police are deploying an inert power as a warning. It looks like a fire extinguisher. Like this guy here, the guy in the white hoodie, he's probably just saying, I don't know what the fuck he's saying, but he's stating his case, and this cop walks up to him.
Powder as a warning to break up
sprays that shit on him.
That crowd.
I think it just messed up his shirt. Like, hey!
A warning to break up that crowd.
I don't know how effective that is to breaking up a crowd if they're spraying an inert powder.
News 8's Adriana Doria is live and watched all of this go down a little.
That's the extent of the violence that we have in this in the streets from this trial right now. Now, I hope that that's the worst of it,
A while ago, Adriana, tell us what happened.
Well, some asshole cop wanted to use this new thing on this guy who was just talking to the cops.
Brian, Sue, a pretty one word to describe all of this was it was very tense between
that's 2 words.
these two sides. They were going about their day like normal, holding their signs, and all of a sudden a very large confrontation broke out between both sides. It got very heated that many police officers on bikes came to try to break that up. They used what they call an inert powder. They said there was no pepper spray or tear gas or anything like that used that would cause any sort of damage or harm to anyone.
The thin blue liners.
They had to use that to break
Those are the
up.
people. Look at stand with Scher. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even I will be confident. Psalm 27, verse 3. Stand with Scher, faith over fear. So you're getting, thin blue line. Here's the cop. We got to bust out our Bible verses to support this guy. Now, people have said to me, EZ, where do you stand on all this? Oh, he's guilty as fuck. There's no way that this guy is not guilty. This cop shot that guy in the back of the head. He did not need to do that. At least that's just, who am I? I'm just somebody who watched the video and has gathered this information. Now the judge said, make sure you keep in mind, jury, you have to figure out or understand that Chris Scher, was he or was he not in fear for his life? If you think he was in fear for his life, then they would vote not guilty. Dan says, I love how the news will show a huge group of protesters in the closest zoom-in shot they can get because there are only about 20 protesters in total. Magic Misfit says, well, yeah, I carry a big CCW gun, so it makes a difference. I'm confused. I don't get why you're saying that. Young Adam Schwab says, am I remembering correctly, the cop passed Loyola and turned around and pulled him over? I don't remember. Tophus says, reasonable people would think he's guilty just because he shot someone in the back of the head. And then Tophus calls the guy a fucking coward. Okay. I do believe that the guy did think his life was in jeopardy. But you got to understand, he could very easily have just jumped off of the back of the guy, kept his hand on his pistol, kept a distance from him and the guy, kept an eye on him, called for backup. I mean, he didn't think it through. This was absolute, in my opinion, incompetence by this cop. Now, not only can he be convicted of second-degree murder, he can also be convicted of manslaughter. Adam says he was pulled over for driving while black. Yeah, I don't know. He might have been. You hear about that all the time. I actually don't recall why he was pulled over in the first place. It might have been for driving while black. Aaron has watched all that trial. He actually does know. He said he was pulled over because the plates didn't match the vehicle. Badger says, let's ask our ballistics expert, Tophus. Aram says there is no doubt this was incompetence by the cop. That's what I tend to think, too, and I think that needs to be punished. Donut Dan says, I am very sorry the man died, and Dan was a cop for 20-plus years. When you decide to fight a cop, it puts everyone at risk. Yeah, no doubt. I just think that it was, I don't think he had to kill him. Sorry. Okay. Magic Misfit says, as far as when to use it or not, my timing was off. Sorry. Tophus says you don't shoot someone in the back of the head, period. Like if I was fighting with someone and I had my pistol on me and I shot him in the back of the head during the fight, I'm going to prison. You have to be able, if you're willing to use deadly force, in my opinion, and I don't know anything. Hell, Dan would know. He's a cop. It has to be a very clear and present danger that your life is in jeopardy. Me shooting a guy in the back of the head during a fight is much more suspect than guy running at me with a knife. I think I would have a harder time convincing a jury that I was right in shooting a guy in the back of the head who is unarmed than I would a guy running at me with a knife. Aram says the standard being used to measure this case is different from if a civilian did the same thing. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I don't know if it's supposed to be that way. I think at the very least he's convicted of manslaughter. Anyway, but here in West Michigan, you've got a large faction of these people who are like, no, man, he is innocent.
this confrontation. They also were using their bikes as a border. They were telling everyone to move back, including us, to try to break.
This person, the sign says, who do you call when cops murder?
Up this interaction. Now, we did see one person taken in handcuffs into custody as a result of this whole confrontation. But again, a very tense situation between both sides. Now, before this, as
by the way, I don't believe that stance, that thin blue line. Kristen Megan Kelly pointed this out the other day, and I think she's full of shit, that the thin blue line stands by cops no matter what and protects them and covers up for them. I do not believe that. I don't.
As you mentioned, jury is deadlocked. They've been sent home for the day, but we got a chance to talk with people on both sides about their reaction to that. Is this a good thing? Are they confident that their side is going to get the reaction that they want because of this deadlocked vote that the jury has had so far before they were sent back inside? Take a listen to what they had to say.
No news is good news, so I think that they are really weighing the options and the facts, and I really, truly hope that they come up with something soon.
Okay, now, I don't know who that guy, I don't know what his take is. I mean, guilty or not guilty, tell me.
Confident, more confident, because I think if they came out real too soon, I think it would have been the other way. I think when they take more time, it's mostly they come back.
Okay, she's definitely on the police side of things. The only thing I can go by the other guy is that he's a black dude. And I can't say for sure.
Not guilty.
Yeah, so you saw a video of that main confrontation. There was another one that happened a few minutes afterward. That one not as large, but the protesters here have definitely died down and started to be a little bit more quiet, not as much chanting anymore as the jury has been sent home for the day. This will all reconvene again starting at 8:30 tomorrow morning for day 3 of deliberations, and we'll be keeping you updated with all online and on Wood TV.
Okay, good. Refreshing right now to see if there's a verdict. I don't think so. Quite a nose on that Chris Scher. I'll keep you updated. Or you can keep me updated. Chris says, actually, the Magic Misfit, Aram, actually, I take it back. Aram says they said in closing arguments that the judge approved the different standard to be applied. Magic Misfit says, I've done police academy and ride-alongs. They're like us. 0% chance this guy walks, and I back the blue. Well, it's also important to note that this is an all-white jury. I think that might have something to do with it. No, that was not John Gibbs. Man bun Chris. People think that about thin blue line because of past examples. Like a story you all talked about on the Lost Zane recordings. A cop got pulled over and was drunk, and the other officer deleted the tape or recording or something. Tofa says, I hope not. I sure hope he doesn't walk, but it's happened so much where cops get out of trouble due to qualified immunity or some other bullshit. Magic Misfit says, I used to not really care for first responders until I needed them a few times. You wise up and respect real quick. Donut Dan says, we now live in a time where nobody wants to be a cop. So many times you end up with totally unqualified dipshits when you can't hire anyone. That is true. Our new pal, Disfamed, says, I got my mom in here. I don't know if that person is still in the chat, but that's maybe your mom would be like, you shouldn't be watching this shit. What the hell is wrong with you? All right. So that's the latest with that. I want to show you the video of Pooh Bear getting hypnotized from the other day. This is Friday. I meant to show this earlier in the week, but kept screwing that up. It's now available on Facebook. The magician is named Anthony Grappito. He does sleight of hand, cards, illusions, mentalism, and hypnotism. I don't know how it happened where he's standing there on stage. He points to person number 1. Give me a 3-digit number. Points to person, and he puts it into a calculator. Person number 2, random 3-digit number. He does that several times. He's got a guy on stage with him. Says, give me a 4-digit number. Gives it to him. Multiplies the first figure by the second figure. Produces a very big number. It turns out, and then he looks at the guy in the front row. He says, this is your phone number, and holds him the phone. Holds up the phone to him. He goes, yeah, it is. How the fuck is that possible? He puts Pooh Bear under hypnosis. It's a guy named Al on stage next to Pooh Bear. I'm just going to play this video.
Thinking in a moment, I'm going to put you down just 1 or 2 levels. REM is where you get the hypnotization. In a moment, I'm going to poke one of you on the arm. Everybody will see this, but you two will not, because I asked that your eyes are closed. So rest with your arms down to your side. Close your eyes and take in a deep breath through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, everyone in the audience, if we keep sync up, everyone taking a deep breath through their nose and out through their mouth. In a moment, you'll feel me poke one of you on the arm, but Al, you have to keep your eyes closed. When you feel me poke you, remember where and how many times, but do not open your eyes or react to it. So let's try this again. I just want to reset the mood. If everyone in the room can take in a deep breath through their nose and out through their mouth. Everyone in the room taking another deep breath and let it out.
And we don't know it yet, but they're both under. For sure, Pooh Bear is.
Taking one last deep breath and let it out. Okay, so listen to the sound of my voice. But the person who felt me poke them, will you please raise your right hand? There we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Al raised his hands late, and then he opened his eyes. He shouldn't have done that. But Pooh Bear is not touched, and she raises her hand.
That's okay. Keep your eyes closed. And you can put your hands down. You can put your hand down. Diana's gone.
Diana's
and
gone.
If you felt me poke you twice, or like tap twice, raise your hand. Okay. Put it back down. Hypnosis
Okay,
works
Diana
well
raises her hand again.
everybody. We go ahead and open your eyes. So first of all, both of you open your eyes, Diana. Yeah. So first of all, who felt me poke them? Did you feel me poke you? Yes. How many people did we poke, audience?
1.
Did we ever get near Diana?
No.
Diana, did you actually feel someone poke you? Did anyone get near Diana? Let's give these two a big round of applause. You've been a great volunteer.
I can't believe it.
You've been a great volunteer. Don't go nowhere. Al, you can take your seat. Diana, where did you feel the pokes?
I'm like, tricep in my elbow.
Did anyone get near Diana? No. Diana, you've been visited by a ghost, I'm pretty sure.
I'm leaving.
I'm leaving this. Let's give Diana a big round of applause.
She's looking at me.
I was scared when nobody did anything. I was like, oh man, we lost them. Well, thank you guys. My name is Anthony Gravito. Before I go, I would love to tell you guys, you know, the secret.
Nobody touched me? Are you sure?
No one touched you.
This is right here and right
I'm not
here.
going to do that. But when I was thinking.
Holy shit. The fuck is going on? Magic Misfit says, oh my God, I'm surprised Zane is not annoyed by this dude. No, I loved that guy. He was great. Is that not the weirdest thing ever? My God. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.